Hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. It's Saturday night again, Matt, for another week, and we're here talking comics, talking games, talking about whatever, really, whatever sparks joy, as Marie Kondo would say. Does this show spark joy? Everyone listening? I hope the answer is yes.
I hope it is. If not, we'll have The Rock come in and take over, and he'll sort everything out. He'll take both our roles on the screen, really. And we'll have to shake his hand. And
just let him have
placate to him and everything, yeah.
Well, inside we're dying just a little bit. Man, that would be hilarious. The Rock comes in, shut your mouth and know your roles, jabronis, Matt and Joel. This is my show now, and we're going all the way to WrestleMania. But you haven't been around. You've been in Hollywood. Yeah, but the Black Adam didn't do what I needed it to do. So, time to take over this business with like a seat on the board of directors that I also occasionally use so I can wrestle my cousin. Wah. And also, Vince McMahon might actually be getting in trouble for real deal sex trafficking.
Yeah,
Did you hear that?
I saw that, yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's pretty fucked up, and Brock Lesnar is apparently also mentioned in the incriminating text messages, too. So he just left, is the funny thing. Brock Lesnar, I'm not going to do the Royal Rumble this year. In fact, I might be retiring from wrestling completely. And I'm like, I wonder why.
Oh, my God.
How awkward must it have been when he got home to his wife, Sable? What did his wife have to say? You did what? With who? Let's just say piss was involved. That's not a joke either. That's not me being like, oh, Joel's saying piss because it's a stand-in for something else. It is not. Everything you think about rich assholes and their deviancy is apparently 100% true.
Oh, absolutely. If anything, it's what you're thinking is like tamer than what
absolutely. They do. Is that why the McMahons and the Trumps have been friends for so long? I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder.
Is that why they get along so well? How's your week been, Matt? On happier news.
It's been good. I took a little bit of a break from comic books at the start of the week just because I had some other stuff I needed to get to and just needed to focus on that. But so I've only been getting to them in the last couple of days or so, and I've also been playing Suicide Squad as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll have a chance to talk about that later. I didn't get it, but I knew you were going to play it, and it actually dovetails pretty nicely with a piece of news that we had here.
Yes.
Actually, hey, speaking of news, big ups to Christian, the fan who recognized me at Taco Bell. That never happens, especially when I'm so close to home, and I was genuinely shocked, and he only said it when he was leaving. So, good on you. Again, you could have come up and chatted with me. It was totally fine and everything. I know people aren't sure what they're supposed to do in that situation, and he got the full Joel experience, too, because it was laundry day, so I was wearing a tracksuit, and I had my hat down and everything. You got the full Joel on that one as I debased myself at Taco Bell for cheesy gorditas and Doritos Locos Tacos. Me, where it's like, oh, the munchies are hitting. Where should I go? South of the border, that's where. And indeed, I went there, and then later I ate so many. People are always saying, like, oh, I can't eat Taco Bell, it gives you diarrhea. It doesn't give me diarrhea. Maybe I'm just built different. Maybe my body's just used to it at this point. That's my new stance I'm taking. Taco Bell gives you diarrhea. Maybe if you're a coward.
Is your lower intestine a coward?
Yeah, really. You need to work it out, man. My lower intestine is made of fucking steel at this point, man. I mean, a breeze could knock me over, and if you say a mean word to me, I might cry, but my lower intestine's stronger than anything. Forged in fire, and by fire, I mean the fire sauce. Num, 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 num. So that's the kind of week I've been having. But yes, that lets people know if you see me in public, you can say hello. I will chat with you.
Nice.
So there you go. We want to hop into the news this week, Matt. There was admittedly not a ton.
No, there wasn't.
But you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with a lighter week. In fact, we were talking about this before we started. I think this is the first week, and I don't even know how long, where we actually read all the books we bought.
I know, right? Yeah.
That never happens anymore. These freaking events have really stopped me up.
Yes, yeah, we're just south of event week now all the events are sort of starting to dry up until at least probably April, I think.
Yeah, until they start up again. Well, I mean, we're going to have that Avengers Vampire event at some point.
I don't think that's going to be as big as it's kind of being advertised as. It's just going to be a couple of issues, I think.
No, it looks like it's just going to be in the Avengers book and the Blade book, which I hear Blade is good, and I dropped off Avengers, not because I hated it, but just because it was kind of slow.
It was doing, like, I remember we said it when we were talking about it, it was taking like 5 issues to tell a 2-issue story, and yeah.
Where it's like, these are good, but you could have done these in half the time. And I have to wonder, is that a Jed McKay thing? Or is that a thing from Marvel where they're like, no, Avengers books sell really good as trade paperbacks. Stretch these out, make all of these a volume.
Cut the issue, story up and everything, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. But yeah, starting things off here, we have Rodny Barnes is going to be penning the first ever solo Ashoka comic book series for Star Wars, and I think that's pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah, it's just an adaptation of the season 1 of the show.
Oh, is that all it is? I thought it was more than that.
Nah. And I saw some of the Mandalorian stuff. They just basically just paint and draw the like scenes from the show, basically. They don't add anything new in or anything, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, like, well, what is up with some of these comic book adaptations? I feel like that's a bit of investigative journalism we should do. I know Game of Thrones had it forever. They had comic book adaptations, and I'm like, well, are these better or worse than the book? Do they follow the book or the show? Obviously, Mandalorian got it, as you said. Who are these for, these comic book adaptations, where it's like, you've already seen the show, now you want to see it in paper form?
I honestly question that, because I thought, like, yeah, when season 1 of The Mandalorian was getting it, I thought, oh, maybe they'll have, like, an adventure in between or something. But
yeah, or the adventures before he met Grogu.
Every issue is just, like, whatever, is like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. And it's really weird. I don't know who these are for.
Yeah. Oh, my parents don't let me watch TV for it is much too sinful, but I'm allowed to read this book.
I'm allowed to read comic books, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Again, is that like a big enough market? I truly wonder.
I have to assume it's for like people who just collect comics, or like...
Maybe.
Yeah, it's strange.
Because, like, you figure if it was an adaptation, it would be different. Even novelizations of movies, sometimes they go in some different directions with it. They add maybe a different scene here or there. Maybe they change some context around. In a comic, you can't really do that as much. No,
you can't at all. It's even stranger because, like, they've got these, and then they've also got they've been doing this Thrawn comic where it's basically adapting the newest Timothy Zahn novels of Thrawn into comics, and like, okay, that makes sense. It does,
yeah, because now we got pictures, and actually, hey, I might actually check those out because I've always wanted
to. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I read the first Timothy Zahn book when I was like really young, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I always meant to go back and read more. And now that they're a comic, that would actually be a really fun way to do it and revisit it. Yeah, more of that maybe. More of that. Yeah, even the Game of Thrones things where it's like, okay, well, maybe their comic counterpart will look more like as they're described in the book even than as they are in the show. Because I know they made some changes here and there. I don't even know how far those Game of Thrones comics got.
I had never even known they did comics for it.
I knew they were on the shelf, yeah. As the chat is saying, yeah, Rodny Barnes' Philadelphia is an amazing book. They need to give him a Star Wars book at this point. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is like his audition for it, where it's like, look, if you do really well with this Ahsoka adaptation, we'll give you your own project. I keep meaning to read Philadelphia because I keep hearing amazing things from it, and it's also more connected to the Image universe now than ever. Like Spawn and Savage Dragon showed up in an issue.
I know, right? The problem is it's so deep in. It's like, what, 30-odd issues in?
Something like that, which isn't much for an Image series, but for us who, our time is very spoken for, and we gotta read like 8-10 books a week. I said it before, but it bears repeating. Man, our job as comic book people is really keeping us from our hobby of reading comics, isn't it? Again, I keep saying I need a long flight, a decent length vacation, or a long prison sentence if I need to catch up on all my books. Which, goddamn, I'm sure I'd be very popular in prison with all the comics I'm reading. Hey, that guy's reading comics. He must be a sex offender. Get him. No, I'm not. I'm just a nerd. I don't know, man. With that build and that chin beard, I don't think so.
These are comics, not manga.
Yeah, really. There's a difference. Come on. Yeah, we're prisoners. If we knew the difference to things, we wouldn't be in here. If we knew nuance, we wouldn't have gotten caught. That's how it's done. People in the chat saying they're replaying Like a Dragon because oh yeah, we got a new Yakuza game this week. That's another thing. I love the Yakuza games. I am so behind on them, and I need to catch up.
Is the new one out? That's the one where they replaced what's his name's voice actor with that terrible fucking Twitter YouTube voice actor, isn't it?
Yeah, you told me about that last week. I had no idea they had pulled that. I went and listened to what Kiryu sounds like in the new game, and holy
it's bad,
shit,
isn't
you
it?
were right.
It's bad.
Oh my god. If you gave me a mic right now, I would give you a better performance, and I am not an actor. I know nothing about inflection.
It's It's really bad.
Like, was the dude popular enough that they were willing to do that to such a beloved character?
Well, from what I understand, because it's Yong Yi who voices him now, and he's like, from what I've seen, he was like big on like YouTube and Twitter and everything. And I don't know how he got. I think he was like an actual voice actor, but like that's where I know him from. And he's somehow got the role, and no one fucking likes it. And he's taking that very, very well. He's not, but
I can only imagine
blocking anyone who he criticizes him and everything. But yeah.
It's such a weird evolution for the Yakuza series, because the first one on the PS2 had an English dub that's actually pretty good, because you get like Bill Farmer and Mark Hamill and Michael Madsen turning in weirdly interesting performances. Then everyone from like 2 to 6, no English at all in any of it. It's all Japanese. You gotta read the subtitles. Then in the Judgment games, they start screwing around with it. They're like, okay, well, this will actually have an English dub. And then by the time we actually get to Like a Dragon, the new one, where it's not even Yakuza anymore, it's Like a Dragon, so they actually go using the Japanese naming. Then we start getting English voice casts, and the original Like a Dragon was pretty good. And then they make weird-ass changes here in this one. Did what is it, Like a Dragon, Man Who Erased His Name, did that have an English dub?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Very weird.
Yeah.
Very freaking weird choices for this. I guess they figured they'd reach a bigger audience if it was in English, and if they did stunt casting, it would reach a bigger audience.
I think that's the idea behind this, but it backfired spectacularly just because the guy doesn't sound anything like Kiryu, and like he's not a very good voice actor to begin with.
And, like, again, you're not going to sound 100% like the original Kiryu, that's fine, but at least do your own thing with it.
Yeah.
Like, hell, again, the guy from the first Yakuza game, actually not too bad. What's he been up to, that guy? That would have been hilarious casting if they actually got that dude back all these years later. He's probably as old as Kiryu is now.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect. But yeah, hey, speaking of casting, and Millie Alcock has actually been cast as Supergirl for the upcoming DCU, the new DCU, I guess we have to call it, because no one has named it yet, so let's take that upon ourselves to call it the new DCU.
Yeah, perfect casting.
I have not seen House of the Dragon yet. I kind of put it off, but she definitely looks the part, and everyone seems happy about it, so I'm happy about it.
She's fantastic in House of the Dragon, and I'm also happy too because she's Australian.
Hey, there you go. Finally, the House of L, as they have always been meant to be. Yeah, I think it's super cool that they are like being like, no, Supergirl is going to be a big part of our new DC universe. We're going to adapt this really good Tom King book because we think it would be perfect for a movie. Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to do that book because, it's a really different book from what you usually see with Supergirl.
Absolutely. Oh, Mason W is saying they patched in an English dub for Gaiden. Interesting. So it didn't have one at launch, but it got it later. Very interesting. And does he voice him in that too? Because obviously that's like new old Kiryu. Which is so fucking weird to say new old Kiryu. But yeah, so this seems like good casting, and James Gunn was quick to say, okay, now just because we've cast Supergirl, don't expect to see her in Superman Legacy, though. The Supergirl movie is still a ways out.
Yeah, they're just getting ahead of the curve, which, isn't it nice to see DC actually like having a plan?
Very.
They're not just like waiting until a movie comes out before they move on to whatever the next thing will be and reacting to what's happening. They actually have a plan in place.
Yeah, they're locking people down. It looks like they're planning for the future. And goddamn, Gunn must be under so much fucking pressure now to have to do all of this, do all this casting, work on the TV side of things because they're still doing Peacemaker. And I'm sure, assumedly, work on his other projects as well.
I assume so, yeah. And I think this month, Superman Legacy starts filming.
Pardon? Oh, shit. Oh, and the chat is saying that, yes, Young does actually voice Kiryu in Gaiden 2. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
It'd be one thing if he wasn't the main character, another thing where he is the main character. Actually, all those Yakuza games and Judgment games are on sale now on the PlayStation Network till at least the 15th, I noticed.
They are, yes.
Which I'm thinking I need to catch up on some of those. I played 1, 2, 0, the Kiwamis. I started 5, I never finished 5, and I never played 6, so I'm like 2 behind in the main series.
I played both the Kiwamis, part of 0, and some of Like a Dragon.
Yeah. Still a good cross-section.
Yeah.
I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo completion. Oh, and I played the fucked up zombie game that's not in continuity and that no one remembers anymore.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
Yakuza Dead Souls, which was technically the first time you got to play as Majima. So there you go. So there's one on my nerd cred. I love they re-released and remastered all these games. Are you going to re-release Dead Souls? No.
No, that's not happening.
It was also just not very good. On top of everything else, like, it was just not very good. The melee combat did not lend itself well to zombie shooter. Like, not at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the James Gunn, man, that dude's got to be under so much pressure now, and you're hearing all this stuff of like, oh, superhero movies, they're, bringing in lower and lower box offices every time, so I'm sure he's got executives and everyone breathing down his neck being like, this better be fucking good, Guardian boy, you better bring it all back.
I'm sure his Superman film's going to do just fine.
I'm sure it will do.
Yeah.
Because it's Superman, and Superman and Batman usually always do good, even just on the merit of being Superman and Batman.
And not only that, it'll be like a proper Superman as well. It won't be whatever fucking Zack Snyder was doing.
Yes, whatever he was on during that whole period, which will be very interesting to see. Is the world ready for a Superman who will be a nice guy, I wonder?
It was about fucking time.
I know, right? God. Hey, speaking of the DCU and everything, did you hear the numbers were in for Max streaming? Again, I still want to call it HBO Max streaming. And the 3 biggest most watched shows were all animated? Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Scavenger's Reign, that new Adventure Time show, and Superman and Lois, or My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, I'm glad that one did really well.
Very much so, and hey, that was a show where Superman was just a good, nice guy, and everyone really seemed to dig it.
Everyone, when it was coming out weekly, everyone really seemed to like seeing this Superman. And it was like a cool like adaptation where like they changed things that, but change it so that it still makes sense within the lore of the character.
Yeah, they made it very accessible, they updated it for modern audiences, gave it an anime spin, and put it on in a good fucking time slot, is the other thing.
Yeah.
On a network people watched on Adult Swim at a good time, and it felt like people really found it organically and really kind of flocked to it organically. Which isn't that nice.
It is.
It is nice, and I hope this Superman movie goes the same way.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, one comic book. Well, actually, no, I guess they're both comic books. But Mathew Vaughn says that Kick-Ass, the reboot that we had mentioned in a previous episode, and Kingsman 3 are apparently all ready to go.
Is that like a threat?
Yeah, I know, right? Are you sure, Matthew? Are you sure now? They're ready to go. They're fucking ready to go. No, I like the first two Kick-Ass movies a lot. I enjoy the first Kingsman. The second one is fine, maybe even a little unfairly maligned. The prequel, wow, that prequel, holy shit.
Prequel, like, I don't understand why he decided to make a prequel.
Yeah, the definition of unnecessary.
Yeah.
A couple really cool action scenes stretched over a truly forgettable, unnecessary movie.
He just, like, that's like most of Mathew Vaughn's career. Like, a cool action scene, and then, like, the story's kind of sort of built around that, stretched around it.
Yeah. Oh, did you see Argyle this week, Matt?
No. I already know the fucking woman's the fucking spy. Yeah, I don't care.
Which that's not a spoiler actually, because that was in the original film treatment that when the movie first got announced. So that's actually not. So the big spoiler that they told you, protect the spoiler, don't say anything. They spoiled it themselves actually when the movie was first announced, and they just hoped people would have forgotten. Also, if you've ever seen a movie in your life, it's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that that's the way it would go about it. But, so he says the new one's coming out. I mean, again, I like the first two Kick-Ass movies. It would be interesting to see what they would do with the reboot, because Millar even did kind of try and reboot it himself to less acclaim, but it always feels like Millar's work gets adapted into better movies anyway.
Yeah, I would like to see them actually do something, like, good with Kick-Ass for a change, like something. Maybe you just need someone other than Mathew Vaughn to direct, because like I feel like he did like his two movies. Let's see what someone else will do with it.
Give it to someone else to give it a try. Might be. And Kingsman as well. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do next after this? Feels like you basically said everything you needed to say on the material in the first two.
Yeah, no, it's really funny because he set up the world in the first one, and instead of like expanding it and exploring it, he like teared it all down and like kind of reset it.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that's what happened.
Yeah, he like destroys like the Kingsman just to bring in the Statesman, and yeah, it's really weird.
And the Statesman were supposed to get a spin-off movie, and that never happened.
No.
Which is probably for the best. Tevye asking opinions on Arkham Batman fans being mad with Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. We'll get to that in a minute, Tevye, because Matt played the game and I didn't.
Yeah.
But, I promise we'll get to that. But, yeah, so there you go. Mathew Vaughn says Kick-Ass and Kingsman 3 ready to go and coming soon. I wonder, was this before or after he saw the reviews for Argyle? He said this. Is my question. Again, what's Argyle doing? I know the reviews haven't been great, but what's the box office looking like?
I haven't been paying attention to it. Honestly, didn't think it would come out yet.
It's also so fucking hard to like deal with the box office of anything now, because damn near everything gets sent to streaming in a fucking month anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect example, that Beekeeper movie with Jason Statham. I'm like, well, that looks fun. Maybe I'll go see that in the theater. Oh, it's out on streaming already. Well, that didn't take long at all. Well, shit, I might have seen that. I
watched that one as well, and it was pretty good. These are the type of films David Ayer should be making.
Yes, it's also maybe the best thing that Jason Statham has been attached to in a minute.
Yeah, he was actually really good in it.
He's perfect for this material. I said it on Twitter in my little review there. This is the dumber, less insightful cousin to a movie like Nobody.
Or like, John Wick or something. Yeah, because they're both desperately trying to be, modern takes on that, like, Charles Bronson, Death Wish, boomer aggrievement revenge fantasy. And while Nobody kind of actually examines that and looks at the sad layers underneath it all, Beekeeper's like, no, but what if we just did it without examining any of it? And what if we all just found an enemy we all agree are truly detestable, Silicon Valley shithead bros scam and hold people over the phone? Yeah. My review of the film was like, what if Kit Boga had a gun?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically what it is.
Pretty much. Yeah, that sums it up. My favorite thing about it, too, is twice that movie sets up a character who's like, oh, this is going to be the heavy. This is going to be the Beekeeper's foil. Yeah. And he kills them both very easily. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I really like that, yeah, because the film looked like it was going in a really predictable way. It was like, oh, we've got the new Beekeeper in, and they're unstable, and it's going to be like a slightly recognizable actor to like fight Jason Statham. Oh, he just like kills her straight away. Oh, there's this other guy, this South African guy with like a fake leg. Oh, he just shoots him in the face and then stabs him a bunch of times.
Also, too, the movie is called The Beekeeper. He keeps bees. He doesn't kill a single person with bees in the whole movie.
I was really disappointed at that.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. And then I'm like, wow, I never thought a movie called The Beekeeper would end up having such restraint.
Yeah.
Hey, the chat was saying me, hey, did you see the Jeremy Renner news? I guess this just broke a couple days ago. I guess he's doing better after his near death via snowplow, and he says he's actually up for more Avengers after it kind of looking like they had written him out, where it's like, okay, time for Hawkeye to ride off into the sunset now.
Yeah, he's been back working for a while because he's doing that Mayor of Kingstown show. They put that on hold, right. And now they've come back to start shooting it again. But yeah, I guess he wants to come back to be Avengers. He's got medical bills to pay.
Yeah, probably. Even when you're rich in America, you're not as rich as you think when you get hurt. I can only imagine. Also, I think he was going through a divorce too, so I'm sure he lost half of everything on top of that.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see about that. Again, they could always use a cameo. Again, I'm sure at some point there will be a big moment, because they do it in the comics all the time, where it's like, hey, we got the original lineup back together. We paid them an arm and a leg to get them all back.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen at some... That's the break glass when box office returns hit below a certain amount.
Yeah, again, make a big deal about bringing them back. Are we already past the 20th anniversary? Has that already been a thing? Has that already come and gone, the 20th anniversary of Avengers? Or even the 10-year?
If not, I think it's like coming up.
Yeah, because usually that's when the comics do it. They trudge it out for like a big anniversary. Yeah, 2012. So yeah, I guess we're already past the 10-year.
Yeah, we had the 10-year, yeah.
Yeah, we're already past the 10-year. So, all right, well, mark our words now. By 20, that'll be the thing. And yes, the chat is saying he should bring back his app. Definitely. Look, I'll come back and do another Avengers, but only if all the other cast members download my app. The Jeremy Renner app, it's the hot new thing. It's coming soon. I mean, it's already here, but it's coming soon. Now, moving on from there, our last piece of news this week, which will actually dovetail into discussing Suicide Squad. It was announced that apparently this is not actually Kevin Conroy's last Batman voice role, as many of us assumed. Apparently, before his untimely death, he had recorded something for, I believe, the third of those Crisis on Infinite Earths movies.
Yeah, he's returning as Batman, the animated series Batman, and that. And most of us actually already knew this. It was places like IGN who have an axe to grind with this new game because they didn't get a review code. Just like incited all of this bullshit. And they're getting into big trouble for it at the moment as well.
I saw, I saw, actually.
Rightly fucking so.
Yeah, the winds are kind of turning against them at that. And yeah, I'll fully admit I bought it because they said it was his last one.
The entire week, or like since the game has come out, they've been like bashing it. And then they were like, oh, can we have a review code? And I'm like, no, you've been nothing but mean to our game. Why would we give you a review code? And they're like, well, we're just got to double down on it and been doing this. They've been even using AI art to talk about the game. So they've been going at it pretty fucking hard.
Well, shit. But yeah, so I didn't play the game. You did. I know I've watched a couple reviews there from people online, and yeah, they seem almost universally negative there, but you had a different take.
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, so you're enjoying it. You're having a good time.
Yeah, I read comic books, and this is a game for comic book people because it is just filled with so much... Like, the writing is good. The writing is really good on these characters. It's filled with loads of like comic book references and things that have happened in the universe already. It goes through the Arkham games themselves as part of the game, where you actually go through the Arkham games themselves.
I did see that. They had an Arkham museum, and I'm like, okay, that's a nice touch. This actually tells me that you guys do respect, the heritage and, the things that you've built in the past games. Because I know one of the big complaints going into this is like, oh, so you're just ditching everything from the Arkham-verse, huh? No. The combat Batman himself?
Well, no, I hate this idea that, like, because the other games were that every game after that set in that universe has to be that. It has to be, a third-person Batman game. No, it can be a shooter, it can be an RPG, it can be whatever it wants to be.
Now, here's my question. This was always my big bugbear going into it, because, I love the Suicide Squad. They're one of my favorite teams, mainly because they're so eclectic, and everyone has a different gimmick there. Do the characters all play differently enough, or do they all play fairly samey? Because to hear everyone else talk, they play pretty samey.
No, they all play differently. They all have, because you've got skill trees, and they tell you, each skill tree is, for a different, I played mainly Deadshot, and he's good with range combat and because he's got the jetpack, he can do fuel dumps and stuff. So he's like a what do they call it in the game? Like a bomber character who does like carpet bombings and stuff like that. And then you've got King Shark, who's your tank. He does really good melee damage with his meat cleavers and stuff. And then obviously Captain Boomerang's kind of a roguish character, where he's very fast, very good at dodging and everything. He's got got the boomerang, which is really fun to use. The only character I didn't like was Harley, and that's mainly because of her traversal mod, which is really shit. Which is
hilarious because she has inherited the grappling hook from the other Arkham games, and
it
works.
Good. It works like you can shoot it at ledges and do the overshoot thing and everything. You can do all that, except it just doesn't work with a character like Harley. It feels weird.
And also, once you have a jetpack, why would you not want to use the jetpack forever?
Exactly.
You can't give me a jetpack and then tell me no jetpack. The general consensus, too, is, the story, the voice acting, all of that is really good. Obviously, you have lots of characters, Tara Strong is back, Deborah Wilson as Amanda Waller, that I was the most interested in, because, I'm a massive Amanda Waller fan and a massive Deborah Wilson fan, so that's just peanut butter and chocolate for me.
Yeah, she's perfect Waller in the game. It's exactly like Waller in the comic books. It's great.
And you can tell that she's interested in the role because she showed up to the Game Awards in full costume.
Yeah.
And she voices her in My Adventures with Superman. So I'm like, okay, so she's just the Universe Waller now.
Yeah, she likes doing this character.
KT, I thought the game looked okay. I'm just skipping it because it came out the same month as Persona 3 and FF7 Rebirth there. Yeah, it had some stiff competition going into it for sure.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable.
Yeah, and the stiff competition is going to keep going, too, because what is it? Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of Ronin come out on the same day, too.
Yeah, in March, yes.
Yeah. Come on, game company, stop doing that. Give some breathing room. Most people only have enough money to buy one. Come on.
I know, right? Yeah.
For the record, I'm totally on Rise of Ronin though, because anything that lets me fly with a Japanese kite and anything that just has a dedicated pull out the gat button for anything. Oh, I'm in a sword fight. What am I gonna do? Gun.
Yeah. I'm just gonna shoot you in the face.
Yeah, any game that just has a dedicated pull out the strap, pull out the Thule button, that's the one I'm going to do. No offense, Dragon Summit, you're doing some cool fantasy thing. I never really played the first one, but it looks like you built on everything people liked. But, call me when you have guns, is all I'm saying. Call me when you have black powder weapons, is all I'm saying. But yeah, Arkham, I know a lot of people were like... that they really liked the story, but they found, a lot of the mission modes kind of repetitive, and that, there was too much stuff on the screen. Was that a problem for you at all, or were you into it?
Well, there's too much stuff in the screen. That's on them, because there are settings you can just turn the HUD off.
That was my question too, where I'm like, God, I hope they give you the ability to change that.
Literally, when the game boots up, you get the brightness thing, and you change the brightness. Then it asks you, do you want to turn the HUD off? Or you can turn each individual part of the HUD off, so you can make it a minimal HUD and everything. They've thought of that. It's all there. Again, a lot of the stuff that comes from people hating this game are small out of context clips you see on Twitter.
Right.
Like the big one was obviously Batman's death, and
yes, which was everywhere. And I'm like, even I knew. I'm like, look, I'm not picking up the game when it comes out. I'm not gonna watch this clip because I know this isn't telling me the full story. I'm sure there's a mountain of context here that I'm not getting.
Oh, there absolutely is. The biggest one being that it's not the real Batman.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
because none of these characters are the real quote unquote Justice League. It's heavily implied that they're clones.
Yeah, the second they started doing like multiverse, and the second it's like, ooh, we're having them do bad things. I'm like, there's clones. They're clones. There's no way that DC would sign off on this. This is the same DC that in the Harley show wouldn't let them imply that Batman, gave Catwoman oral sex. You think that DC Comics would be okay with Batman killing people?
Not only that, but the developers have come out and said that the idea is that in each of the seasons coming out, there will be you'll be rescuing the Justice League from Brainiac. So from the first one, you'll be rescuing Green Lantern, then Superman, and they will go to the Hall of Justice and be there for you to talk with and everything. That's the idea behind it. So again, it's just little clips that people have taken way out of context.
So they actually have a roadmap here. I know, what is it? Someone said that every month now moving forward, there's going to be a different Brainiac fight and everything, and that's kind of going to be the thing that keeps everything moving forward. Then you're going to get your DLC characters like Joker and Deathstroke and what have you.
Yeah. The Brainiacs are really quite cool because obviously you go to a different Earth to fight because all the Brainiacs have gotten together to subjugate Earth across the multiverse. And
the Council of Brainiacs.
And you go to each one, and each one is has a different power. So the first one you fight is taken on the Speed Force, and it's Brainiac with the Speed Force. So you've got to fight him like you fought the Flash in the game, and use reverse Speed Force to defeat him.
Right. Huh.
And that's the thing. You, when you fight these villains, when you fight the Justice League, you're not just standing there shooting at them. You've got to we're fighting Green Lantern. We've got to go to Batman's hideout and get a yellow lantern power battery. And we're fighting Superman. We've got to use gold kryptonite.
I did hear people say the Green Lantern fight was the best one.
It's pretty fucking cool.
I did hear that, and that for Batman, when you fight him, they're sure to put you on the other side of the Arkham game, basically, where you got to run around in the dark and be a thug and watch out for gargoyles.
You fight Batman twice. You do that, and then there's another one where you're put on the other side of a Scarecrow fear toxin thing, where Batman takes on the role of Scarecrow and becomes the Demon Bat.
Interesting. So what I'm kind of hearing here is that there's actually a lot of really good stuff in the game. If you're willing to deal with some of the more, online things. Did you the more always online things? And we even said this before, where it's look, there was always going to be a reckoning for always online games. There was always going to be a reckoning for games that people feel is predatory when it comes to their multiple different currencies and everything there. And it's just kind of interesting that this ended up being the game that kind of the straw that broke the camel's back and kind of became the whipping boy for all of these problems, which are still problems in the industry, but it's just funny it ended up being this one.
Yeah, which is really strange because you look at those other games that came out, especially Marvel's Avengers, because that's what it's getting compared to for good
Very
reason,
so.
Two superhero games and everything. That one launched with fuck all content. I remember because I was playing it when it launched. Fuck all content out of the story mode. Fuck all. This one actually launched with a real decent amount of end game content.
Right. Which again, hey, as you and I even said for the Avengers game, it's man, the story and the characters and everything here actually pretty good. It's just a shame that it failed at being a live service game, which is what it wanted to be.
I finished the story. What do you want me to do now? There's nothing
wait
to
for the DLC. No, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. And you had to wait a long time for the DLC of that. The DLC for the Suicide Squad comes out next month.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
As we said before, too, well, it kind of sucks, the whole, predatory, always online, freemium currency, everything. It sucks when it's done badly, but as we've seen with stuff like, Fortnite and even Call of Duty and everything, when you do it right and you hit the right dopamine receptors for people, they're going to be more, okay with it and more, amenable to it. And you have to wonder, will Suicide Squad be one of those games that does it, but does it right?
I was checking, because I hadn't, through my entire run, I hadn't, checked the store, because it's got, a store, because it's an online game. And, compared to other games, it's, really, it's not in your face at all. They don't tell you, go to the store, do this. And you go to the store, and it's just it's just outfits. It's just some outfits, that's it.
Now, I have to wonder, because obviously, you know, when people reacted so negatively to the game the first time, they kind of like took it away for a couple months to rework it and everything. I have to wonder, what did the game look like before that? I have to wonder, what were the actual things that they changed is my thing.
I would have to say that they probably added content in. That's what I think.
God hoping they did.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear a different take, Matt. I'm glad to hear you're having fun with it, and honestly, you're kind of softening me on it now. Maybe when it actually comes down in price and I have some free time, I'll check it out. Did you play co-op with anyone? Because obviously that's the whole big thing, getting to play with a friend.
I didn't, but I'm going to now that because I just wanted to finish the story. But now that I'm finished the story and going into like end game content with all these Brainiac raids, I'm gonna definitely play with some other people.
Christ, I'm shocked we didn't jump on that. That should have been a thing, because then I could write it off as a business expense. Look, we're playing, we're seeing for ourselves. Look.
I'm sure you'll be able to pick it up pretty cheap pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I will be too. Well, all right then. So that's the news, everyone, this week. Not a hell of a lot happened, but with that, we can hop into what we read. And like we said, we actually got a lot of good reading done this week.
We did, yes.
Should we start with Beast World, which was the big event finale this week?
Yes, we should.
Sure. So yeah, big bombastic finale that I enjoyed very much, answered a lot of questions, left the door open for new stuff, and basically ended with like, hey, if you want to see where this goes, be sure to pick up Taylor's Titans book. We promise it's really good.
see, I don't know how to feel about this book, because like it felt very rushed in the end. Like, we've got to deal with all of this, we've got one more issue and we've got to deal with all this stuff that should have been dealt with probably 2 issues ago.
You know what it was? It's the big beast problem, the thing they built up, ultimately in the end didn't end up being that big a problem at all.
Yeah, like all through the book they keep going about, we've got to find a cure, well, how are we going to cure these people? And it's like, oh, we'll just like put a powered person in front of these people and the parasite will come out. And it's like, why did it take you 6 issues to figure that out, when in the first World Tour Metropolis tie-in they figured that out? Like, Bibbo figured that out.
I mean, I guess the big problem is they just didn't know how to corral everyone while also trying to protect themselves and stop Waller from murdering them. I do like Waller got them to step into a trap by dealing with the drone army, but Waller also steps into the Titans trap by corralling all the people with beast sickness so the heroes could cure them. That's funny. It's like they were playing Uno and they were both throwing down the reverse card.
I really loved Nightwing's talk with the president, though. Just because it mirrors what Taylor did in Injustice with Batman. Whereas Batman went to the president and he like threatened the president and was really paranoid and like basically almost saying like he owns the president and everything. Yeah. Whereas here, Nightwing actually went to him just to talk with him and wants to even reveal his secret identity to him to make him trust him. I thought that was a nice like inverse of each other.
I love that it's still nameless, faceless president, because God forbid they actually reflect any real world politicians. Which is funny too. The president's like, "Hey man, I hate Waller as much as anybody, man. Let's work together, you and me. Let's show that stone cold bitch who's boss, right? Me." Because you never see that to a story where the president was also was like pretty down and a pretty good bro with no, man, I don't want to see your face. I love secrets. I'm the president. Just ask me about MK Ultra sometime. Ask me about the secret underground FTR tunnels one day. Oh, nope, I said too much.
Can't talk about them.
Yeah, can't talk about any of that. Hey, as a president, I get 2 secret murders, right? Per term, you get 2 secret ones. You gotta use them up before you end your term, but they're gone.
Yeah, I got 1 left.
But I'm saving it for a rainy day. But yeah, so him working with the president is good. A lot of people said that Beast Boy's death in return was ultimately a little too easy, and I'm like, nah, it just seemed easy because Taylor did a really good job setting it up.
See, no, like, I think what should have happened is that he should have returned, and it's like, oh no, his memories aren't all there. This is just like Beast Boy in name only. He's just like a husk of who he was. And then they remember that like arm that got cut off when he first fought the Necrostar. That itself could have been a whole arc in Titans. They go to a different universe to find this arm that's lost, and it's like, fallen onto a planet and become like that planet's like seed of life or something, and Beast World finds himself, and him and Raven regain their romance and bond, and that could have been an arc on itself, and it's just finished up in like 2 pages.
It felt like Taylor really wanted to have a happy ending. He wanted high stakes, but he also wanted there to be a happy ending. Which is, though, because it's like, it's a happy ending, but it's not. It's like a happy ending sandwich where it's like, oh no, Waller has actually used this situation.
It's like one thing after another at the end of this. It's like, okay, that's the ending. But wait, there's more. There's more.
It's totally a Return of the King ending, because it's like, Waller has used this situation to strengthen her political power for the Bureau of Sovereignty, and now they own the Hall of Justice, which, hey, good on that, because the building was just sitting there.
I wonder how they own it, because, like, Batman owns it.
You would think, yeah, but Batman lost all his money, though.
That's true, but surely he would still own the building. Like, Bruce Wayne would still own the building.
I mean, I assume being a rich guy, probably all of his leases and everything were owned by Wayne Enterprises.
He just let them lapse, yeah.
He let them... Well, I mean, we found out in Gotham War that he let the mansion lapse, because Alfred takes care of that shit, so he doesn't even own the mansion anymore. Vandal Savage owns that. Goddamn, Bruce, you gotta get your money right. You gotta get a fucking accountant. Again, stop recruiting Robins off the street, find some wayward accountant and adopt him and be like, look, you're accountant man. Your job is just to sit here and run my shit. So I don't have to. And they rename it the Hall of Order, which I just imagine Waller and Steele and all of her people just taking shits in the superheroes' toilets.
That moment, I fully expected to turn the next page and be like, and here is the Dark Justice League. And it's like...
Right, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's just like Dark Avengers.
Could still be coming. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Waller has definitely taken the Norman Osborn pill, hasn't she?
Yeah. She's going to run for president next.
Oh, shit, yeah. Well, I mean, she basically implies that she's more powerful than the president now, that she can just do whatever she wants.
Yeah, she owns the president, yeah.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can make crazy laws, and I will make crazy laws. But also, she's not really the one in charge of things, because we never really heard back from the Light, who are apparently the ones pulling her strings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about that. That just again. This and Dr. Hate, I think, is that disconnect between Taylor and Williamson and what they both have planned, basically.
Yes, I got the very distinct feeling that Williamson had one idea and Taylor had another, but also that they're still good friends, because we'll talk about Batman and Robin this week, because Williamson actually goes out of his way to honor something that Taylor did.
Oh, nice.
Which I really respect, and it was a small thing, and I'm like, good on you for doing that.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
But yeah, the big final reveal at the end of it all, and you knew this was coming because they never showed you the end.
Nah.
Of Raven and Dark Raven's fight. Oh no, they've switched places.
Yeah, Raven is now in the gem, and Dark Raven, Dr. Hate, is Raven on the Titans. I think defeating Dr. Hate, it was way too easy. Oh, Flash took a helmet and like threw it in a volcano, and it destroyed it. And they also forgot that she had the Nightmare Stone.
Oh fuck, that's right.
It's in shots. It's like on her like chest there. They completely forgot that she had that.
Well, the Nightmare Stone is still not shit, even after its own event. And again, I didn't hate that moment either, because I'm like, well, you know, everyone in this story had something to do except for Starfire and Flash. Oh, hey, Starfire and Flash got a thing to do. And Starfire really should be shown to be more powerful, because she really is. And it's like, she never goes whole hog, but here she did, because she was just so pissed at Hate.
Yeah. I was going to say, did you find it really weird that, like, this event started with, the church and the guy that was revealed to be Tamaranian and everything, and he never appeared in this event outside of the Titans book at all. Like
Titans,
he never appeared at all.
Well, because I think they like bit that in the bud in like 2 issues.
Yeah, it was really strange. They were like setting him up as like the big bad, and then he just like disappeared.
I mean, clearly he wasn't the big bad. The big problem was circumstance. And that's kind of my takeaway from Beast World, where it's like, yeah, there's no main villain here. The villain is circumstance, where it's like, yeah, the Titans made choices that got them in trouble. Technically, they won the battle with the Necro Star in issue 1, and Waller just made it worse every step of the way.
Yeah, and deliberately made it worse to paint them as villains.
Yeah. Which again, they did kind of make her job really easy, where it's like, hey, one of their members is a demon woman, and look, one of their members is a giant starfish, and that cyborg hacked the military. Where it's like, God damn it, we had reasons.
Next she's gonna say like, oh, Nightwing actually has like butt implants. That's not his real ass.
Oh, that has to be the next arc. Please, for the love of God, let that be the next thing. Did you know that he has works done? Yeah, he has ass implants. Is that an ass you can trust? That's not America's ass, I'll tell you that right now, for free. Oh, that's the thing. Waller just needs to be like Trump, and she's just all over Freedom Social, just tweeting crazy things about superheroes all day, every day.
Yeah, like conspiracy theories that muddy the water.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's true. I actually did that. I sent Peacemaker and made that happen. That's why Peacemaker is so close to her now. She just tries out crazy conspiracies on him. Hey, do you believe that, Peacemaker, that Nightwing has ass implants? Well, I'm hearing it, so it must be true. I'm going to tweet about that right now.
Yeah, because Chris is just such like a narrow-minded like sheep. Yeah, he's just like, whoa, really? Really?
That's why Waller loves him so much. You know, Rick Flag used to check me on this shit, but now you're here. I like you so much better than Rick Flag. He talked back too much. But yeah, I enjoyed Beast World. It was short, sweet, to the point. I know some people had problems with it, you included, but overall, I enjoyed this much more than like the last 2 or 3 DC events I read.
No, I agree. I agree that I liked that it was short and like got to the point. The tie-ins, you could read them. You didn't really need to read all of them.
You did. Yeah, I didn't read a single one.
Yeah, I just read the Metropolis one, and I flipped through some of the other ones. I'm like, okay, none of this is gonna like come back at all. It was cool stories, but yeah, I kind of like that it was all kind of like separated out.
Yeah. Yeah, again, here's hoping they keep that energy moving forward for other events, I would say.
Yeah.
What else did you want to talk about, Matt?
I had Avengers Twilight issue 2.
I had Avengers Twilight too, and I actually read it this time.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
Pretty fucking dope, isn't it? This is quickly becoming one of my favorite new dystopian futures. It's like so obvious and yet so perfect. A world that is obsessed with the superficial parts of superheroes, because everyone is wearing like superhero stuff on their clothes and everything, and yet they could not be more disconnected from the heroic ideal.
Yeah, it kind of mirrors like parts of our society where you got all those people who do that sort of stuff. They wear all this sort of stuff. They collect the Funko Pops and everything. It's like, well, I don't know anything about these characters. It looked cool. It looked cool. I like it.
Yeah, superficiality is running rampant here. Again, this book even like gets into some like really hard cultural criticism when Captain America and Luke Cage realize, it's going to be harder than ever to wake people up that the world they're living in is a fascist hellscape because they're all very comfortable, and comfortable people don't fight and don't rock the boat.
Yep.
Even when they're actively having their freedoms taken away and they don't know it. And I'm like, man, that's pretty fucking harsh. And then they even go a step further by being like, yeah, here's Kamala Khan, favorite young person hero, who is now in middle age with 2 children and who has also kind of lost the will to fight because she's also comfortable and is also afraid of blowing up her life. Steve blows up his life, no problem. His wife hates him now and says, we're basically done. You destroyed my whole life by doing the right thing.
Yeah. Steve don't really care about that. And yeah, he tries to do it with Kamala as well. But yeah, she's not interested. She's got kids. But then she's also a little bit interested because she's got like the radio that like tunes into what's going on.
Again, and I like that, putting the heroes in such hard positions, especially a hero like Kamala, who has so frequently represented the reader and young readers, to see them at this point of middle age where it's like, it'll happen to you. You'll lose your fight too at some point.
Yeah, it'll happen. You'll get old and wrinkly. It's going to happen to you.
Yeah, you'll have a mortgage and everything else and 2 kids, and your perspectives will change and everything. It's very much like, I thought I was with it, then they changed what it was.
Yeah, I have become the boomer.
Yeah, basically Kamala has become the boomer, and that's very sad and also like, fuck. But also, too, it kind of really helps Steve where it's like, no, I will always fight the good fight, no matter what age, no matter what time I'm in, because I have always been the man out of time.
Yeah, I've never had a time where I fit.
Yeah, and that's kind of a beautiful thing where the book is like, no, that's Steve's true power. He's always the man out of time, always fighting for the heroic ideals.
He's boomer proof, yeah.
He is boomer proof. Oh my god, yeah. The big reveal too in this issue, and when I went from liking it to absolutely loving it, is we learned that Jimmy Stark's butler, Jarvis's younger brother, which I thought nothing of in the first issue. I guess Jarvis. Jarvis had a younger brother, whatever, that makes sense. We've never seen him before, but, I'm sure it's just a fun new character to vent here. His guardian, the one who's been pushing him into, more and more villainous situations, the guys who's been stoking the fires of his fuckboyery.
Yeah, and who in this issue has been, like, literally telling Nameless President that he owns him, and he runs the company. He runs America because he's, like, the corporation of America.
Yeah, what a fun juxtaposition between the two books we read this week, where it's like, you're the president, but like our money paid for your super PACs and your secret service and military are armed with Stark weapons. You're the mascot of America. I'm the CEO.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
It's a really great villainous scene. We learn there's a reason why Edwin Jarvis's brother is so evil and such a piece of shit, and that is because he doesn't really exist. He's the Red Skull. Yeah. Alive and well.
He's it makes like everything make so much more sense now.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Because again, they foreshadowed this so well, because if you look at New Shield's logo on their arm, you didn't get a good look at it in issue 1. You get a really good look at it here in this issue. It's still an eagle, but it's an iron eagle now, and it's red instead of silver white.
Yep.
Friggin' Red Skull cannot help but put his logo on shit.
Yeah, and in that first one, they were doing that huge push regarding Red Skull and trying to like turn him into like a hero, which makes me think they're gonna eventually like have him come back as Red Skull. So, and then people will be like, "Oh yeah, he's a hero because we saw this documentary."
The best part about, this, and this is where Zdarsky really kind of shows his hand and says the quiet part loud, is I'm like, wait, so you mean to tell me, Zdarsky, in this dark future where personal liberties are stepped on and fascism is fully embraced by the American people, it's because of a cabal of killer cops, uncaring AI bro Silicon Valley types, and literal Nazis? All working together in conjunction to ruin the world and destroy the heroic ideals. Damn, man.
And the best thing is it never comes off as like on the nose either.
No, it doesn't. It's very like, look, if you know, you know. That this is it, that they're all working together in conjunction. We also got a new version of the Thunderbolts in this book, which is a really interesting idea because they're like an arm of the military staffed by supervillains' kids. Yeah, and I like that they don't have costumes or anything. They're just like a bunch of like spoiled kids who just happen to have inherited like skills from their parents and been drafted into the army. Yeah, we get Bullseye's daughter, who's every bit as good a shot as her dad is, and Cap does his big speech to try and rouse people to his side, and it doesn't seem to work on everybody, yet when she's given the opportunity to shoot him, she doesn't, implying that maybe his message actually did get through to someone, just not the person he expected. Yeah. Which I like a lot, actually. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And again, bringing up this thing where it's like, well, yeah, all I gotta do is go on TV, give them a rousing Captain America speech, and surely they'll all be on my side and help me topple this evil regime. Actually, Steve, they hate you more than ever, and they love the regime now because you dared to shatter their illusions and made it seem like you were coming after their creature comforts, so yeah. Yeah, they just want to be comfortable, and you're not making them comfortable. Yeah, they don't like that. Again, it's very hard to destroy a dystopia when people are comfortable and people are doing well. Though the implication is that people outside America are not doing well at all because the Avengers are going around committing war crimes. Yeah, they're invading countries without anyone knowing because they control the media. Yeah, which is fucking wild to me. And I'm like, oh man, there's going to come an issue where we're going to get to see what those other Avengers are up to, and it's probably going to be really dark and fucked up. Yeah. I have to also wonder, it's like, through the last issue and then this issue, Kyle Jarvis, or Red Skull, he's like really pushing for James to become Iron Man. Like he keeps saying, it's his destiny. Wonder why. Yes, but Jimmy doesn't, which is actually a really interesting like angle on him. Jimmy, when he's talking about the armors, he calls them murder machines, so he has no love for the armor. Yeah, it's almost like he has
like gain some of his father's, like, he hates weapons and all that sort of stuff, but like but he's still very much like how old Tony was, where he's very spoiled and just likes money and whatnot, and his cushy life.
It begs the question, what happened to Janet and Tony in this timeline? Did they meet natural ends? Did Red Skull push it along? Did something happen to Janet that turned, Jimmy against weapons and against armor so much? Because at first he just seems like the worst person, and he probably is, but this issue gave him a little bit more dimension when it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to be Iron Man, he doesn't like the armors.
Yeah, maybe like all this, like, because he like goes into like his disembodied father's head to steal like designs and stuff. Maybe he's like caught like memories of like Tony dying in the armor or something, and it like scares the shit out of him.
Yeah, quite possibly. And I'm like, ooh, are they actually implying that Jimmy Stark could be saved at some point? I don't know, but it's very interesting. And again, they basically call it in this issue, yeah, Captain America will need to fight an evil Iron Man at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Of course it's gonna happen. You got to get that image of that Captain America fighting Iron Man.
Naturally. Also, the book is called Avengers Twilight, but it's really more about Captain America, right down to the Red Skull being the villain, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with Chip Zdarsky just doing a Captain America book.
Yeah, you could have called it Captain America Twilight, but I'm sure Avengers Twilight would have sold better. And it's not like there isn't a bunch of other heroes in it.
No, not at all, yeah.
Yeah. Also begs the question, too, geez, what other heroes are still alive if Kamala was Steve's first port of call?
Yeah, well, I kept wondering, like, well, who's Kamala's husband? Because he doesn't seem to be on the scene. Maybe he died or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's Miles doing in this?
That's what I initially thought. It's like, is Miles her husband? It's like, but is he dead?
Because we know Peter's death clearly hit the Avengers and Steve very hard and everything, so that there would be another assumedly middle-aged Miles running around. Did
Miles even exist?
Good question.
Because remember the Peter
died too early.
Yeah, I was going to say the Peter on this world didn't. The Avengers didn't know his secret identity. They just knew him as Spider-Man.
Oh, and Ultron is still alive, too, from H-Day as well, and he's kind of Red Skull's prisoner, and he's kind of the one actually running the back end of everything, because Jimmy's a little useless.
Yep.
Which I like a lot, and so that means that to win the day, Steve will need to defeat Red Skull, and also finally win the battle of H-Day that has still been going all this time.
Yeah, he's going to make up for what happened in the past, and he wants to do that as well, because they also reveal that they know about Tony Stark still being somewhat alive, and they've got to break him out or like go and get him or something.
We got to save his Walt Disney head. We got to break into the Disney vault and get him back.
Yeah, Peter Parker died in the first issue, Tevya.
Yeah, we saw his body and everything.
Yeah, he's very much dead.
Yes, impaled and everything. It was very sad.
Yeah.
I had 2 Batman books to finish us off this week, and the first one was the Batman and Robin Annual.
Oh, how was this?
This was really solid, actually. It's all about Bruce and Damian going on a camping trip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they stopped Double Dare, the 2 villains from Taylor's Nightwing book, the twins, from stealing stuff. And like, oh, we weren't, doing a lot of crime. We were just stealing some money so we could go on a road trip. And Bruce is like, I've never taken my son on a road trip. I should probably do that. And Damian, of course, hates it every step of the way. It's basically the plot to a Goofy movie. But with Batman and Damian, and obviously they're not on the road for more than a couple minutes, when Damian stumbles upon a mystery apparently at a High Moon campsite. People have been disappearing for months. And that's because Roulette, the gambling-themed villain, has literally just turned it into the most dangerous game, where ultra-rich trophy hunters get to pay to hunt man. And one of those hunters turns out to be Bloodsport.
Oh, nice.
In fact, Williamson actually does a really nice thing going out of his way to honor everything that happened in that last Suicide Squad run.
Oh, where he was like hopping between Earths. He had like all his like brothers from the different multiverses, and Oh, nice.
We get a splash page remembering all of that, and he even goes as far as to say where it's like, yeah, he's come back with a bunch of dangerous Earth 3 weapons he wants to try out. He doesn't even want the money.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, that's so cool. And then he's also sure to remind us, like, oh yeah, Bloodsport started as a Superman villain. And I'm like, oh, and you're writing a Superman book right now. Is this your backdoor way to get Bloodsport back in?
This is him also saying Bloodsport should have been Deadshot in that Suicide Squad game.
Really should have, with his ability to teleport guns and everything. Tell me about him.
And being a Superman villain, whereas every other villain in that game is a villain of the Justice League, and Superman doesn't really have one.
No, he doesn't have a representative, which what a missed opportunity, right? Very missed opportunity. But yeah, he's super cool. Batman defeats him in a fun way, too, because they're trapped on a camping trip, so they don't have their costumes and most of their gear, so they have to, like, Rambo it up. And Batman, like, covers his face in dirt, and of course it makes a bat symbol, because why wouldn't it?
Of course.
And Bruce is like, Bloodsport, I've always wanted to fight you. I've had this really interesting theory. If you can summon weapons in from other dimensions, then surely if I fuck with this thing on your wrist, I can send you where the weapons go. And Bloodsport's like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. And he just teleports into nothingness.
Oh, no.
So God only knows where Bloodsport went after that. Just the moments of abject terror on his face, like, no, I'm not supposed to use the wrist thing like that. Which, hey, maybe he'll pop up in the Superman book somewhere. I feel like that's where it's meant to be, that was Williamson planting a seed for something. Like, don't worry, you'll see him again somewhere else.
Yeah, he's going to appear in some other work of mine.
Yeah, he's going to be on like a fucking alien planet, or he's going to be back in time with Marilyn Moonlight or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was super cool, super sweet, to the point, really solid. And the big twist at the end is, Damian and Bruce have this great moment by the campfire where Bruce is like, well, I want you to do more normal things, son, like camp and go to school. And Damian kind of logics his dad to death, where he's like, but Dad, we're not normal. We've never been normal. Why are we forcing it, doing normal people things? At most, I just want to like talk to you and hang out and do cool shit. And Bruce at the end reveals, yeah, I knew Roulette was killing people out here in the woods. That's why I brought us. I knew you would like beating up some D-list villains there, Damien. This was my way to get close to you and everything. Got you. You got Bat-Dadded. I parented the shit about you, and you didn't even notice I was parenting the shit out of you. I love that Batman's relationship with his son is so fucked up. He has to, like, Zen riddle his way into parenting.
Yeah, into actually doing something that, like, a normal parent would do.
Yeah. Again, I can't tell you we're doing this. I need to make it some big multi-layered game. But yes, Batman Robin annual, very fun. Again, continuing to build some really great themes and ideas that Williamson has been playing around with in that series. Definitely worth your time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had
anything else?
I had two more. I had World's Finest Annual, 2024 Annual.
Oh yes, this was a big issue, I understand.
Yeah, it's not actually even about Batman and Superman. It's about it's about the world's finest. It's 4 stories from a bunch of really cool fucking writers, and the first one is about Mr. Mixel Spitlick, and the Just Us League, which is the 5th dimensional inversions of the Justice League.
But of course,
and they all gather at their Hall of Justice, and Mixie has gathered them because he wants to tell them about something. But before they do that, they have to go through the usual, like, oh, we have to fight each other because heroes sometimes do that, and they're always trying to the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern in this one is like Green Lantern and Green Arrow mixed together because he wears like the little hat but like a Green Lantern costume. It's
fun.
And him and Flash fight about whose TV series went longer and was better, and they're all fighting and everything, and eventually they stop and we find out that something is coming for the imps and they don't know what it is, and then they're all attacked by the imp versions of the Legion of Doom. And they're all taken out, and Mixel Spitlick's like, right, I'm out of here, and just leaves the team to die at the hands of some unknown villain, which will be the next story in Wade's World's Finest book. He's writing it with Colin Bunn.
Oh, that's a cool way to set up. Oh, really? Bunn's back and writing a thing. Shit, I gotta catch up on this.
yeah, he's back and writing. And there was like a quick sort of prologue to what he's doing in issue 25. And yeah, Pretty cool, pretty cool. The next story is a Metamorpho story that picks up literally seconds after his appearance in World's Finest a couple of issues ago. Dennis Culver writes it. About that. And Dennis Culver writes it, and it's just a fun Indiana Jones adventure with Metamorpho. He's going to like an island to find the Hammer of Vulcan for Simon Stagg, who wants it so he can like sell it and like make a shitload of money. But Rex doesn't really like that because he's, you know, Indiana Jones, and we learn a little bit about his dad, Montana Mason, who was like Henry Jones Sr. and
cool name.
And we find out his dad went missing and they don't know where, and we learn exactly where he's guarding the hammer. He's been down guarding the hammer for decades against people who might want to take it, and he ends up fighting with his son because he sees his son as like a lackey now just for Simon Stagg, and he's like debasing himself just so he can be with Sapphire Stagg, his wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it.
Long-time love interest.
Yeah, so he ends up convincing Rex that like the hammer is like his life is worth more than the hammer sort of thing, and he leaves without the hammer, and Simon gets mad, and that's the end of the story.
Always nice when Metamorpho gets some love, especially because it looks like we'll be seeing him on the big screen soon.
I said in my review, how has he not got like a book? He's Indiana Jones with superpowers.
Right, that should be such an easy pitch.
I know, right? Like, how has that not done anything? That would have been so fucking cool. Maybe with the movie, like, he'll get, like, a little bit of a push.
A mini, I don't. It's because he looks weird. I'm sure a lot of people look at him and, like, he looks weird. I'm like, yeah, that's why he's cool, because he looks... The Thing looks weird, too.
Yeah, and everyone loves The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Thing has a weird name, too.
Yeah, he's just called The Thing.
Could be anything.
Next story is by Stephanie Williams, and it's about Bumblebee, the Teen Titans character, and it's before she actually becomes Bumblebee, and it's a really quick story about her. A friend of hers comes to her for help because their disabled daughter's prosthetic leg like almost like dangerously hurt her because it's like made from like shoddy materials, and she ends up just going and investigating the company, which is tied to Stagg Industries, funnily enough.
But of course,
and she learns that like they make like shoddy products because it's like cheaper for them, but then they're also like implanting these shoddy products with like listening devices so that they can just listen to their customers and, you know, gain intel on them for marketing and other nefarious purposes.
Goddamn Amazon.
It's pretty much, she breaks into like an Amazon warehouse sort of place. Yeah, it's great.
Damn you, not Jeff Bezos.
And yeah, she gets the information she needs and leaks it to like a friend who works for like a paper in Midway City, and they expose the company.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And the last story is written by Christopher Cantwell, and it's about the challenges of the unknown.
Yes, you tweeted about this, that you loved this, and this must be good if someone did something with the Challengers that was so good.
Yeah, it's not the easiest story to follow because you need to know who the Challengers are, and not many people know who they are.
Foremost.
They're literally Fantastic Four characters, basically.
More or less.
And they're a task. They have been sent by Batman to this facility where a super collider has gone rogue and is like ripping like their reality apart and merging it with another, and they have to like
be a Tuesday.
They have to they have to put it. The whole running thing was like, oh, we're meant to be on vacation. We were meant to be on vacation, and it's nice because that actually ties into their origin when their plane crashed on Challenger Mountain. They were meant to be on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
They end up getting in and trying to close it, and June, the kind of newest member of the team, ends up sacrificing herself to close it, and they end up closing it, and they go through like a couple of months, maybe up to about a year of June having sacrificed herself and them feeling like lost without her. But then she just turns back up at Challenger Mountain, and it turns out that the super collider dropped her on the mountain where their plane crashed, their origin basically, and it gave her perspective on why they do what they do to help save people from the edge of reality basically, and it's given them an idea of why they do what they do and why they can't go on vacation, more or less.
That sounds like some hard science fiction.
It is. It fucking is
for the Challengers.
It is, and I want Christopher Cantwell to write a Challengers miniseries. It'd be so fucking cool.
if anyone could, he's proven that he really thrives when given like kind of, weird off the cuff hero books that are kind of like outside the AAA.
Right.
Hey, speaking of science fiction, if that was hard science fiction, oh boy, did the last book I read this week, just personify pulp science fiction in some of its best, and that was Batman Off-World 3.
Ooh, I haven't read this one yet.
It's good. I will be brief with it then. Basically, Batman is continuing his quest to punch every alien in the universe. And he went to one alien planet and he punched the local wildlife so hard that one of the local wolves has decided to start following him around now as his pet. And maybe first Robin, I don't know. It's Batman and Space Wolf now.
Nice.
And that nice Tamaranian woman, Ione, is like, okay, so you escaped the war storm. Now you're going to go back to Earth. You're ready to leave. And he's like, no, I have to go back and punch Captain Sin. I didn't finish that. And she's like, you're the stupidest fucking man ever if you're going to go back and do this. We just escaped the worst prison in the world and you want to leave? It's good character work for her because if you remember, she brought her boyfriend back there when he escaped and he was murdered and she feels bad about it. And she's kind of catching feelings for Batman, but he's totally in his 100% asexual fight mode where it's like, no, I can't bed you, alien pirate woman. I need to put all this alien technology I don't understand into building a brand new bat suit. Which he does. And he's like, yeah, I bet this does look pretty stupid to the outsider looking in that I, a pampered rich boy from Earth, is now sneaking into a spaceship the size of a city, staffed by a bunch of kidnapped individuals from all over the universe, bred only to fight and to war. But you know what? I'm kind of fucking crazy like that because I'm Bruce Wayne and every day I wake up and choose violence. And I'm choosing it today. And then he punches the fuck out of Captain Sid, and he's like, okay, so this is what I've trained for months. Where are your organs? Where are your nerve clusters? Where it's all punch, punch, punch. And Batman's like, oh, that felt great punching that guy. Oh, shit, I've been really self-serving this whole time, haven't I? I guess I can't go home until I deal with this Black Sun Mining Company because they've been the real villains this whole time, and I've been too stupid to see it.
Yeah, he got butthurt that, Sin beat him in Gotham. And
basically, yes.
And I love it when Batman does that. He's done that a couple of times throughout the years.
Yeah, you've heard of post-nut clarity? Well, this was post-punch clarity for Batman, where he's like, oh, I've been acting like a real dickhead, just hyper-focusing on this one guy who hurt my ego. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this mining company's been, kidnapping children, and the War Stormers were meant to go and work for them, so I've kind of been avoiding the systemic cause of all of this from the very beginning. And we meet the two dudes who run the Black Sun Mining Company, and they're these weird, creepy albino alien twins who, crush people's heads with their bare hands.
Oh, God.
So Batman's like, oh, I gotta get really good at punching these guys. Oh, as hard as I've punched, I gotta punch even harder. So that's where we're at with that.
Nice.
And again, it's just Jason Aaron having a beautiful time, really embracing, really old-timey pulp sci-fi. This is like Flash Gordon by way of Batman. This is like John Carter of Mars by way of Batman. And I didn't get it until this issue.
I was going to say, I kind of started getting those vibes in the second issue. And the first issue really set that up where he gets catapulted into this unknown place. But yeah, it sounds like it keeps just going straight into that.
There's an image in this book where his suit is torn and he's got the Space Wolf at his side and he's walking across this desert alien planet with this beautiful pirate woman next to him. This is just space Conan. This is just space Robert Howard is all this is. And I'm like, I get it now. Batman is Conan and punching is what is best in life. Is what it is. And I'm like, okay, I'm so down, Jason Aaron. You basically wrote a Conan book with Batman.
Nice. Between that and his Superman book, he's doing really well.
He is. Again, man, he's only been at DC for a short amount of time, but so far he's basically 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Fucking killing it. All right, did you have one last one there, Matt? And then we can talk about what's coming out this week.
Last book I had was Star Wars issue 42.
Oh, yeah, what's happening in the galaxy far away? It's been a minute for me.
Yeah, this is in the wake of Dark Droids. Dark Droids got dealt with, and now Luke is going to try and fix his lightsaber because it got destroyed just before dark droids, and there was like a brief fix for it, but now he wants to like properly make his green lightsaber, and to do so he's got to bleed a crystal, or like unbleed a crystal, because he got given a Sith lightsaber crystal before the event, and he wants to like figure out what it is, because he got a glimpse of inside of it, and there's like a Sith inside of it.
Oh shit, for real?
So he goes and meets this fallen Asi woman named Greta, who gave him the crystal on Christophsis, and wants her to use her like traditions, her family traditions, to help him get back into the crystal so he can see what's inside of it. And he ends up going into the crystal and meeting this Sith guy. He's like a king in this crystal. He sits on like a throne and he's got like all these like other Sith around him, and Luke tries to fight him, but then realizes, oh, I'm actually surrounded by Sith. This is like a 1 against 100 situation. So he ends up getting captured and thrown into like this castle dungeon where there's like a bunch of other people who I assume also tried to bleed the crystal or like get into it.
Fucked it up.
Yeah. And this guy, we don't actually know who this Sith is. He's just like some random guy, and he plans on turning Luke into his Jedi jester, which he had, but he had like a jester before who was a Jedi, and like he didn't really like him, and the guy committed suicide by throwing himself off the castle wall, and he needs like someone new, and Luke's gonna fill that void. So Luke's stuck in here, and meanwhile out in the real world, Greta and her, I think it's grandmother, are like trying to figure out like, okay, he's been in there for quite a while. Well, like, what do we do? It's like, oh, we can't really do anything. Luke has to come out himself.
Damn it, Luke, you're taking up the damn crystal. Either shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Other people need to use the Sith crystal.
Yeah. They assume because he's in there, he's like, oh, he must be doing like really well. Like he must be like really finding himself in that crystal. And it's like, it just cuts to Luke getting the shit beaten out of him by a bunch of guards in a prison cell. And yeah, that's where the book ends off. And yeah, it's quite interesting that we're actually going inside a crystal. We've never done that before.
No, yeah, that's very interesting. Again, I like these Star Wars books continuing all this time later to throw some curveballs.
And we've never done like the reverse bleeding of a crystal, where it's usually always the Sith who bleed a crystal to turn it red. We've never had it the other way, where a red crystal is being unbled into like a normal lightsaber crystal.
I didn't even know you could do that. That's a good piece of lore.
Yeah.
Nice, right on. Good shit. Want to talk about what's coming out this week? Because it's looks like we're back to it. Looks like we're back to another big week.
We're back to it, yes.
We're back to it, everyone, again. I guess the biggest marquee book coming out this week, and the one that the chat was even asking about, was Batman 142, the kickoff to the 3-part Joker Year 1.
I've got to read the last 2 issues. I know about them. I know what happens in them, but yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people asking in the chat, how do we feel about it? I know they were pushing this one quite hard because every book we had this week had the preview. I don't read those previews when they come out.
No.
Like, if I want to read the book, I'm going to read it as part of the whole thing. I don't want to get just a little taste of it. Let me just sit down and read the whole book.
A little out of context taste, yes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are up in arms about, like a Joker origin story, because it's like, oh, that defeats the whole purpose if you give the origin. If there was a writer I would trust to do it, it's Zdarsky, especially because we already saw what his version of Batman Year 1 was in The Night. It didn't touch the Joker at all, and I'll actually be really interested to see what his take is on the Joker.
And his run on Batman outside of Gotham War has been just fantastic.
Yes, and all the books have forgotten Gotham War across the board, which is good.
Of course they have.
Yeah, everyone's just like, that didn't happen. What are you talking about? We all had a fever dream. That didn't happen. Mutually shared madness. We got that. We got X-Men 31, which is not Fall of or Rise of, but just another issue in the main book. It looks to be the whole team fighting Nimrod. Because again, it's just like, hey, we got to wrap this up. There's a lot of stories here we got to wrap up before this Krakoan era is all done. I really thought all the other X-Men books would stop for Fall and Rise.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. We were just going to get Fall and Rise, and then maybe like the odd book that is like supplemental.
Yeah, hell, Dead X-Men came out this week, and I didn't even read that one because I'm just like, no, I'm just going to read Fall and Rise.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not paying attention to any of the other books.
I mean, look, I'm sure they're using this time to answer hanging questions and everything, but like, hey, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? We got Avengers 10, Shazam 8, Birds of Prey 6, which I'm 2 issues behind on that and desperately would like to catch up. Ultimate Black Panther #1 is the other big new #1 dropping this week. Yeah, and I think we both want to check that one out.
Yeah, everyone seems to love this new Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, and again, Spider-Man did great. Here's hoping this one does great, too.
Yeah.
We got Captain America #6. We got Daredevil Gang War 3. Yes, Gang War continues. I think it's done. We get the penultimate issue next week, I think.
No, yeah.
Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville 6. Thanos #3. I did not like issue #2, but I am interested enough in this series to keep up with it. And again, it's... what is this? Cantwell writing that one?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, it's Cantwell writing that one. It looks like this is where like the book is getting into what it's actually supposed to be about, and that is Thanos and this lady who has found out that she's like the reincarnation of Mistress Death taking a weirdo Bonnie and Clyde style road trip because Thanos is driving a car, which is just a hilarious image.
Yeah.
Here's a book coming out this week that I'm sure will confuse people. Red Hood The Hill #0. Have you heard about this, Matt?
I haven't, no.
So Red Hood The Hill is going to be the new ongoing Red Hood series that we're finally getting, which, you know, about time, especially after Gotham War, where he got fucked over pretty seriously. I think he needs a new book. It's going to be written by Sean Martinborough, who people might not even remember this. He wrote Red Hood 51 and 52, which was the first time that a new person had written the main Red Hood book since Lebdell got ousted for being a sex pervert and a creep and a piece of shit and everything. He got 2 issues before the book was canceled, and he had this whole big pitch where it's like, yeah, I'm moving Red Hood to this place called The Hill, which is this historically black neighborhood in Gotham, which is currently being gentrified now. Todd lived there at some point in his life with his family, so he had friends there and everything. And it was a really great setup that never got to go anywhere because they canceled the book and then he never got a new one. And then they made him like the star of that zombie book in Z. So now it basically looks like all these years later, DC's like, can we have a mulligan on that? Can he just come back and keep writing like that, never stop? Cool.
No, that actually sounds like a really good like story for Red Hood. Like finally something different.
Yes, it is. Those first 2 issues were really good, and Red Hood The Hill 0 is just those 2 issues.
Nice.
Is just those 2 issues put together. So check it out if you like it. Apparently the new series is just going to be picking up where this left off like nothing happened. And I'm like, good, more series should think about doing this. Hey, we totally bet the wrong horse there. Let's just go back and pretend that didn't happen.
Nice. I actually might pick that up.
Again, it looks cool, and I'm also going to be really interested, too, to be like, okay, Martinborough, what do you have to say with Red Hood right now after everything that happened to him in Gotham War and all these other books? How are you going to square these circles, my man?
Yeah.
Can't wait to see how he figures that one out. But yeah, that's all the books that are coming out this week. Again, pretty sizable week, but looks like we don't have a bunch of events breathing down our neck just yet.
Thank God.
I know, right? We deserve it. We deserve a break.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start winding down the show. Then thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. We hope you appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's listening to the show over on Spotify now. Took me years, but I finally started putting it up there. Thank you for everyone who commented and complimented how good the audio has gotten. We're doing something different now that we probably should have been doing from the beginning. My fault, not Matt's, 100%. I just want to say. But yeah, hopefully the show sounds a lot better now. Hopefully you appreciate it. As always, if you're a patron, which you can become one for as little as $1 a month, you'll get this video back early before anyone else. And we try and do it in audio and visual format as soon as possible. If not, the easiest way to watch us is the way you're watching us right now, live, Saturday nights on Matt's YouTube channel and on Twitch.
Yeah, we're live almost every weekend unless there's like some big problem, which happened a couple of times, but I think we've done pretty well.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty good, all things considered, for, over 300 episodes.
Yeah.
I am planning to go away sometime around the 14th. I don't know if that's near a Saturday or not, so we might lose a show in the next 2 weeks or so, but keep posted for that, everyone. So thank you, as always, for coming and hanging out. Thank you for everyone who donated and super chatted. It really means a lot to us. And Matt and I will be back again next week, and we will do all of this all over again.
Yeah, catch you guys later.
Catch you later, everyone. Bye-bye. Comic Multiverse out.